Good day, YouTube. Welcome to Rome 2 Total War 2 versus 2 multiplayer action. I am Southern Wolverine, you see here, the general of my Carthaginian army on his African war elephant. His army is arrayed in front of him. The Syracusan army of Comrade Drago is arrayed out to my left in the forest. And in front of us is a Roman and Seleucid combined force. Alright, so my army, other than my general's African war elephants, I have a unit of mercenary noble fighters. This is a new unit in the Hannibal at the Gates expansion. I also have a unit of mercenary Samnite warriors, which is also a new unit, both very capable sword units. Although the mercenary noble fighters is a very good, it's an elite type of sword unit, very, very solid. Alright, my main line is anchored by 2 units of late Libyan hoplites on either flank. And the center is 3 units of African pikes. And out in front is my skirmish force. I have 4 units of Libyan peltasts. And my cavalry force is deployed out to my extreme left. It is a mixed force. Some of these guys who unfortunately are sinking into the ground, which seems to be an issue with the latest patch. I don't remember seeing that until the expansion. So it's kind of an odd situation. Anyway, it's a couple of Carthaginian cavalry, a mercenary Iberian cav, and a mercenary Campanian cav. Ooh, if we sink ourselves under the ground, these guys are kind of a neat looking unit. The bronze breastplates, the kind of shields, and they got some of these shoulder plates on them. Very neat, very elite kind of sword unit, very much in the mold of the Apsus Companion cavalry. Comrade Drago's force, he's got some Hippeus Lancers out here, including his general. He's got a line of peltasts, looks like 3 of them. And he has some mercenary Samnite warriors. And flanking some mercenary veteran hoplites. And more mercenary Samnite warriors on this flank. And out here, he has 2 more units, both mercenary Campanian cavalry, same as the units I have for Carthage. Again, very solid melee cavalry unit. Alright, so out in front of us, what we can see so far is we can see a bunch of Roman heavy infantry. Mixed force of evocati, gladiators, legionaries, who also are sort of sinking into the ground. This is a bug that they really need to do a hotfix on, because when these guys disappear into the ground, even when your troops can see them, it's kind of nonsense. In any case, the Roman also has 4 units of cavalry, I believe 2 legionary and 2 auxiliary cavalry moving out to this flank, all in this flying wedge formation. The Seleucid, his general is this Indian armored elephant. He has 4 thorax swords and I believe 4 thorax pikes. He has a mixed force of peltasts and eastern slingers as his skirmish force. He also has a unit of Hellenic cataphracts and a unit of median cav. Alright, so we're fighting near the temple, the statue of Zeus, as you see right here. There he is. For the purpose of this battle, this is just one big chunk of impassable terrain, so I'm using this as a sort of block to anchor my main line. I'm bringing both of my late Libyan hoplites over to help my cavalry confront this Roman cavalry force, because if I can destroy them, I am feeling pretty good with my pikes anchored against impassable terrain, and with peltasts I'm pretty sure I can trash the Roman force, which has no skirmishers and is moving forward rather aggressively towards me. Either they didn't talk before the battle, or I don't know what, but the Roman was very aggressive and the Seleucid player was kind of laying back for a while. So yeah, I mean, if you're playing 2v2, coordinate your strategy. This Roman player also joined the battle and immediately readied up. Didn't bother to ask if there were any rules. Clearly didn't take any time to talk to his ally. So he clearly was playing a rush army right from square one. So recognizing that there's nothing but swords over here, I've brought my war elephants over. And they are going to basically have a party right in here. My peltasts are having their fun. They're throwing javelins at these guys. They've caused Not a whole lot of damage yet, but here come the elephants. Watch what these guys are going to do. Just plowing through all these heavy sword infantry, already splattered in the blood of their enemies. Yeah, these guys are going to have a pretty good time. Meanwhile, I'm keep pulling my cavalry back, trying to draw him in to fight my spears and my cav at the same time. I could even use my peltas if he gets really close to help turn the scale of that fight. But you see, he's running right into my pikes, so I have no reason really to commit the rest of these troops. And whereas those other guys were sinking in the ground, these guys are kind of floating. Yeah, clearly some glitch issues in this latest patch. Drago brought over some Hippaias Lancers to help quick hammer and anvil on this flank unit, since the Seleucids weren't really pressing him real hard yet. I have bogged down these cavalry against my militia hoplites and my cavalry units, my Iberian cav. These two auxiliary cav are fighting against my Campanian cav and my whatever this other one is. Well, okay, whatever. They're fighting the two mercenary cav units. My elephant's still having fun over here. Drago's now facing off against this pike line, using his peltas to try to whittle him down. And he's got a push going on here on the flank. He's sending his mercenary Samnites against these thorax swords in an effort to turn the flank at this pike line. And I'm not sure who's better, actually. These Samnites are a pretty solid unit, but so are the thorax swords. I mean, so the Samnites, 36, 35. Melee attack and damage, 85 defense, 55 health, 55 morale. Very similar stats, really, with these thorax swords. Both in formation attack, very similar units. If anything, I would say the Samnites are slightly better, but they're fighting more thorax swords. So that might not be a great deal for the Samnites. So my elephant's over 500 kills already. The Roman cavalry getting very thoroughly wrapped up back here and obliterated basically by my cavalry and hoplite force. And the Roman is pretty much down to these two units who are now fighting against my pikes. And a couple of sword units are working their way over to help. These mercenary Samnites are coming in, and the noble fighters are going to come up here and help as well. And the elephants are going to circle around and come in the other way, since the Seleucid player is clearly busy dealing with Drago and can't really micro these couple of units in the woods over here. So see, this unit of pikes even is going to get around behind these Evocati and help take them out. And here comes another elephant charge. Yeah, just a bad day for Rome. So all these pike units for the Seleucids are attempting to engage, realizing that they can't stay in skirmish forever. And my missile units are now contributing to the fire against them. These guys are going to take a lot of casualties pretty quick. Even though they're fighting these mercenary Samnites to the front, they're taking a lot of skirmish fire to the rear. And this pike line has gotten too spread out, too diffused to be super effective, as these veteran hoplites are working over to their flank. These pikes are doing okay, fighting against peltas who are out of ammunition, even though they're flanked by them. And this extreme right flank is kind of going against us as well, as these Samnites there just aren't enough of them to hold off all these thorax swords. Some of the cavalry got in here. The Campanian cav are good, but they're still going to struggle against these Indian armored elephants, who are better. So now I'm trying to help out Drago, since my direct opponent was pretty much destroyed. So I got some hammer and anvil going on. These cavalry are just trashed, just absolutely trashed those pikes hitting them from behind. So they're running in on a charge. I've got two more units here in reserve, preparing to go on their own strike, while I reform my line, try to push into these trees and drive these units out. And what's left of my elephants has regrouped to begin another strike when necessary. Alright, so here's my next cavalry charge. I've decided to attack these thorax swords with my melee cav. And this should be a pretty good fight for me. Melee cav has a good bonus against infantry. You see here, I mean, a 15-point bonus for infantry for those guys, 15 for those as well. But as soon as these elephants come in, I decide it's time to get the hell out of there. So I pull straight back, and I'm drawing all my cav back, including the ones that are helping out Drago, since most of the infantry fighting him has already been destroyed. And at this point, all my peltas start shooting at these Indian armored elephants. And they're tough, but they can't take the kind of a beating. So they're quickly going to start taking losses. See, they already lost, what, 3 or 4 elephants there in that first couple of volleys? Yeah, so they're pretty much done. And meanwhile, the infantry here is pushing up against these forces in the woods, and they're simply going to mass rout, or the opponent here quit, conceded defeat, I'm not sure which. But in any case, let's go to the results screen. Alright, so I suffered the fewest losses, had the most kills, although that was in part because the Roman army facing me was way more aggressive than was good for him. See, the vast majority of his infantry did very little. The most they had was 34, and they were pretty much all destroyed. The cavalry combined for maybe, what, 40 or 50 kills, and pretty much all destroyed. So the Roman basically bounced off of my army, with very few losses inflicted on me, which let me pretty much come over and help wrap up the Seleucid player, who I kind of felt bad for, because really he didn't have a whole lot of support from his ally. And Drago here got his troops nicely engaged. Some of these Samnites actually did pretty decent damage, even though these units were destroyed. The Hoplites held the line, you know. So Syracuse an interesting build, and Drago was able to use them to kind of hold and do quite a bit of damage actually with these hit and run with his Hippeus Lancers and his mercenary companion Cav, and using these mercenary sword infantry as well. So in any case, thanks to Comrade Drago for playing another 2v2 with me, and good game to our opponents, Abcorsi and Draft Oyster. And let me just leave you with the lesson of this battle, if there is such a thing, is work with your ally if you're playing 2 versus 2. It's just that simple. Coordinate your strategy, move as a team. Don't rush and abandon your ally. If he does rush, do what you can to help him. You got to coordinate. So in any case, thank you guys for watching. If you liked the video, please do like the video, comment, and subscribe. And thank you all for watching from the battlefields of ancient Rome. I am Southern Wolverine, wishing you a good day.